Hello humans, today we are going to be delving into the wonderful world of Go Motion, what it is and how it can be achieved with cost-effective modern tools. Now, we've all seen Go Motion visual effects, mostly from the golden era of industrial light and magic from the master Phil Tippett. Examples such as the Tauntaun and AT-ST walkers in the original trilogy Star Wars films, Dragon Slayer, Batteries Not Included, the early Indiana Jones installments, and of course the cinematic masterpiece that is Howard the Duck. Go Motion is the technique of moving a camera or model miniature at controlled speeds and distance while the camera shutter is open, causing a realistic motion blur when photographed at one frame at a time. A puppet such as the Tauntaun could be hand-posed between each frame, and its linear travel be slowly moved during exposures in incremental stages using stepper motors and mechanical rigs that were tied to a motion control computer. The result, a realistic motion blur given to the movement of a puppet character or model miniature. The first use of Go Motion actually dates all the way back to the 1920s from the Russian-Polish filmmaker Ladislas Sterevich. He developed a method of manually moving puppets and models during exposures to impart motion blur and more fluid motion into his animated films. Traditional stop-motion photography that captures one frame at a time without coordinated movement often gives a unique staccato look, movement that lacks motion blur, each frame crisp and sharp. So when it came to Jurassic Park, Phil Tippett was employed to further develop and refine the technique of Go Motion animation for the dinosaurs. Using regular stop motion for pre-visualizing some of the bigger action scenes, the intention was to do a final pass, likely creating the best stop and Go Motion animations ever seen. Ultimately, the breakthrough in ILM's digital animation department proved to be the chosen route, and Tippett thankfully was still on board to provide the guiding hand in the character animation process, which is a big reason why the CG in that film still holds up so well. Thanks to outstanding animation studios such as Leica, who often use impressive camera and model mover rigs in their animation setups, and the motion control work that John Knoll has recently employed for Star Wars television projects, we've seen a return and advancement in what can be called Go Motion animation techniques. So, JP,
Yes.
we have some interesting, fun-looking bits in front of us. What's it all about?
So we are currently working on a sci-fi feature film, and we've reached the period where we are starting to film miniatures.
Yes.
So we are very interested in using the motion control bits that we have to control our camera and our model miniatures and integrate them into our miniature sets, and where we can to offer up some dynamic motion.
Yeah, so essentially what we're talking about is doing a slightly longer exposure during the actual pre-programmed motion of the control unit. For example, this, what we call a Stewart platform. And so the idea is, it's kind of like it'll do a bit while it's moving, take a photograph with a long exposure so you get that motion blur happening, and then it'll go back to position, and then it'll do the next one, and then back to position. And so you're basically doing that stop, shoot, stop, shoot, stop, shoot, but you're actually just moving in between each frame in order to create that blur, right?
Yeah, and the reason why it resets between each frame is so that at the start of the second and third, fourth frame, it's already got up to the correct speed and velocity, so the blur that is exposed during that long exposure is the correct length and the correct. It's very clever.
Yeah, it is mad clever, and it's amazing to have things like drag and frame, the control boxes that kind of do all of the maths for you.
Yeah.
I mean, when Tippett was doing this, I mean, literally the dude had to build and figure out everything by himself.
Yeah, and of course the analog technology as well, using film cameras versus the very easy to interface digital stills cameras that we have now, or hybrid cameras that we're using.
Yeah, and then from a lighting perspective, it kind of like, it's almost the opposite problem to what we've historically been accustomed to, which is not having enough light, whereas in this case, it's like we need a smaller light, because not only are you doing a longer exposure, but they kind of account for each other because you're closing down an aperture, but you're doing a long exposure. So in a way, they sort of offset each other.
Yes.
We're shooting miniatures with a 150 watt dado as our key, which is kind of mad when you're shooting at sometimes 22. It's like, what? 150 watt?
And that's mainly because we're kind of traveling between two different worlds here. We're kind of interfacing with traditional animation and visual effects photography.
So about this particular Stuart platform that we've got right here.
It's just arrived.
It has.
In time.
This is box fresh from an amazing company called Actuonix. So they're based in Canada.
Yes.
And they make actuators.
They do. They make amazing linear actuators.
Tiny ones.
Very small. Well, they do different sizes, different powers, scales and everything. A big shout out to Mike and Owen for helping us out and sorting us out. This isn't actually a off-the-shelf product.
No.
This is kind of a proof of concept of how these actuators might be applied for different industries.
And we're here to demonstrate.
And we're here to see how it kind of can fit into our plans to do some interesting motion control photography. So this is a Stuart platform, like you said. This is a 6-axis platform.
Because we've seen one of these before. You've built one of these before.
I have. It was only 3-axis, so it wasn't very good.
Rubbish.
But it was a lot bigger and heavier and more cumbersome to kind of rig.
Yeah.
It kind of worked for what we used it for.
Yeah.
It wasn't...
But it was hard, right? In terms of getting the manipulation of it.
Yeah, it was tricky to find a way of kind of controlling where you wanted it to be and interface the controls and everything. With this, we can actually interface it very seamlessly with our Dragon Frame box and use a PlayStation controller. And
or any, controller that functions with Dragon Frame. But let's be honest, they are the better ones.
Yeah, they kind of fit the hand.
They fit the hand. Like, I don't want to go down a Xbox rant, but come on, what are those things? Yeah.
So that just helps offer up positioning for keyframing.
Yeah.
And the plan for us is to explore how we can use this to move our model miniatures in interesting ways, and as well as our camera eventually.
Yes.
Experiment with mounting a camera on here that will hopefully give us some options in animating a camera in a very kind of organic, almost handheld simulated way.
Yeah.
But something that we can apply to miniature photography or animation.
Or possibly even recording camera tracking data from a handheld move, send that information to Dragon Frame, which then controls that at scale so that you've got scaled, handheld, repeatable. Oh, come on. I mean, like, are we the only one excited by this? Probably not. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, what's great about this is we can think of quite a few applications mounting this on a slider as well.
Yeah.
Similarly to how we used my previous iteration, the 3-axis version, we found that by putting it on a slider can offer up some interesting dynamic moves when used in conjunction with something like this, because you can then impart some nice dynamic moves for things like spacecraft or
planes,
ships and boats. Yeah, so we're really excited about this because this is a really good addition to our arsenal of experimentation, and it'd be really interesting to see what results we get from it. So
very exciting. Yeah, man. Exciting. Amazing to have these incredible tools in our hands, and that is absolutely thanks to Actuonix, so big ups. We're of course going to be featuring all of this kit in upcoming episodes where we're working in motion control, so stick with us and we will show you as soon as we're allowed. See ya.